Well, well, well. One thing about the Dallas Cowboys fan base and content creators and media members, we love to deal in a lot of hypotheticals. And everybody seems to have the fix for the Cowboys, while not really having the fix for the Cowboys. And so today we have another Brian Schottenheimer press conference or, presser. And Brian Schottenheimer is telling us one of the main ways that the Cowboys can be fixed. And nobody's listening. Can Brian Schottenheimer fix the Cowboys? I don't know. But we're going to talk about it. Let's go. Let's go. It is time to talk about the Cowboys. Another day, another Brian Schottenheimer interview. What would it be like without a Brian Schottenheimer interview? Let's go. Let's get it. Welcome, Cowboy fans and Cowboy haters alike. I'm the G, and I'm the host of Let's Talk Cowboys, where we talk facts. And as you come into this live stream, please hit that like button, share, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you know the next time we post another video or go live. And we are live. And if you haven't become a channel member or subscriber yet, please do. We have a lot of great things coming up this season. Now let's talk facts. Again, another Brian Schottenheimer interview. And unfortunately and fortunately, I think Brian is saying the right things. I think the biggest problem that Brian Schottenheimer has right now, what he's saying isn't translating. What he's saying isn't translating. It's not translating onto the field. So I don't know what to tell us on that part, but we're going to talk about it today. So let me tell you what the show is going to be about today. I think we got a great show. Y'all know it's Wednesday. Got to go teach the Lord. But also I want to talk Cowboys before I go. So let me show you what the show is going to be about today. It's going to be exciting. We're going to listen to this Brian Schottenheimer press conference. It is obvious that he is dropping some bombs in this press conference because I've been seeing a lot of quotes about it on X. Also, somebody's got to keep us in reality. And I just want to keep reminding us. I told us some of these things. And the problem is, I think maybe the expectations of this team, I think some people may have put them way too far out there. We're going to talk about it. Also, y'all's favorite, Big Rombowski. I think I saw you in the chat. Big Rombowski, your favorite, Bobby Belt, seems to think he has a fix for the Dallas Cowboys. I'm very interested to listen to what he says. And then I'm going to talk about my three ways to improve the Cowboys. And a lot of people ain't going to want to hear them because they're very realistic. And finally, we're going to look at some trade candidates as the Cowboys quickly approach the trade deadline. And so those are our subject matters for today. Shotty presser, high expectations, the Bobby Belt fix, 3 ways to improve the Cowboys, and trade candidates. Let's go. Yep. Y'all hold on just a second to keep rocking to the music. Give me just a second. That's a word. to let the dog in. Y'all excuse me. Had to let the dog in. All right. Let's get this thing going. Let's get a quick 1 or 2 minute roll call, dude. We're going to really get this thing popping. Yeah, I hit the wrong button. I hope I didn't moon y'all when I got up to get my dog. If I did, excuse me. All right. Let's go.
Yo, G, bless him, bless him, bless him, bless him.
All right. Big Moss dog up in this thing. James Moss in here. Freddie Morales, he said, I firmly believe that if we as fans and Jerry and Steven stick with Shotty, that he will lead the boys to the promised land. I do too. Let's go. James Moss again. Let's see. Big Mouse Dog again. Let's go. Y'all got a lot of comments. Oh, it is the Big Rombowski. The Big Rombowski said, afternoon, Cowboys, brew with the G. Let's go. Big Rombowski, what happened to your wrench, man? What happened to your wrench? You changed accounts or something? What's going on? Rod Barnes up in this thing. Let's go. Jacob Jackson, what's going on with you? Good to see you. Lord Nova in this thing. Tyrone Church, let's turn up. John Jones, he said, what up, G Money? I'm gonna tell you some New Jack City. What up, Brandon? What up, Rose? Yeah, it's time to talk some Cowboys. What up, Kitty Boy? I agree with you. Yeah, we missed DeMarcus Lawrence and Jordan Lewis. I agree with you. And I think the reason why we missed them is because D-Law was pretty grounded, veteran presence. J. Lou was an absolute dog. Yeah, we missed him. Ronan the Voice, Kenneth Montgomery, what's going on? Dolores Ennis, what's going on? Magdalene, Miss Matrix up in here. What up, Miss Matrix? Duckface, Quack Quack, what up with you? He said, I'm at work and got all of the chief fans I work with liking your channel. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Let's go. Hey, they might not like me so much, Duckface, when we get ready to play them. Let's go. Brian Worley, what's going on with this thing? Logan D, what's going on? Perry Young Winfrey being back is absolutely huge. Absolutely huge. All right, let's get this thing going. More Eddie, what's going on with you? Dominique Pittman, the neighborhood regular, what's going on? What's going on? Ursa Major, what's going on? Chris Newman, Kevin Edwards, what's going on with you, my brother? Yes, sir. Chris Newman, I'm sorry, man. I thought I hit the right button, but maybe I didn't. All right, let's go. What's going on, Paris? Let's go. Big Mouse Dog, he said I had both phones on YouTube. Let's go. What up, Poobie D? All right. Get this thing going. Mr. Get Dirty in this thing. What's up? All right, let's get this thing going. So Brian Schottenheimer has, of course, the Cowboys, man. This dude drops press conferences on the regular. I wonder if Brian Schottenheimer gets tired of talking. Because, boy, they have him dropping these things on the regular. On the regular. And so today, he is going to be talking about the Cowboys, of course, getting better again. So let's see. What's going on, Ice Wall Cowboy? Brian Schottenheimer and this team are saying some things to us that I don't think we like what they're saying. A lot of people are pushing back on what they're saying because we want trades and all of these different things, but they're pushing back on us like crazy, if you ask me. Check this out.
Big laugh. I like that.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Oh, big laugh, Brad. I like it, man. How's everybody doing? Good. Think you should go outside today in the wind? What do you guys think? I think, yeah, maybe a little 7-on-7 and do some kicks and stuff like that. 40-mile-an-hour winds. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, we'll see. Golf, yeah. I'm game. Let's go.
Calvin Watkins, Dallas Morning News. Your safety situation, how much do you think Donovan will go today? Or Wanya, is he feeling better?
Yeah, again, both guys are trending. I don't know how much they'll do today. We do have the extra day this week, but like I always say, each day there's information that's given, and I would say that both guys are doing everything they need to get back, but we'll see kind of where today, tomorrow, and next couple of days look. But definitely a little thin right now.
Cooper, how's he doing? You think he'll practice it as Devils on target?
Yeah, for sure.
Trade deadline next week. How much do you talk to your guys about blocking out the noise of what goes on around here in terms of making a trade or that kind of thing?
Yeah, I don't really talk a whole lot about that. I mean, I just focus on us trusting the process, and there's always going to be noise, and these guys can't control the noise.
Now, I'm going to tell you, I'm not concerned. When I hear Brian say, trust the process. When I hear the Cowboys say, trust the process, this is going towards exactly what I told you the Cowboys were doing. We are watching the Cowboys build up to the 2026 campaign. I'm not saying the Cowboys aren't trying to win. They are trying to win. I believe they're trying to win now. But we got to understand, they're trying to win now. They're trying to win now with what they have. And that's the part that we're just going to have to accept. The Cowboys loaded up the offense. The next phase will be loading up the defense. And unfortunately, that defense probably won't be loaded up this season. It's probably not going to be loaded up. So we're going to have to accept that the Cowboys are trying to do two things. They're trying to win now with what they have, but they're also evaluating what they have. Those are the two things they're doing. And so with the offense, they're pretty much there. But with the defense, they are a long way away. They are a long way away. So this is where we are with the Cowboys. This is kind of where we are. And this is why, as you listen to Brian Schottenheimer talk, he's making the sense that we don't want him to make. When he's saying trust the process, that means that there is a process in place that is not complete, and it's not going to be completed this year. I don't think it's going to be completed this year. I mean, we're just going to have to accept that. It's not going to be completed this year. I mean, somebody's got to keep us in reality. I'm just trying to keep us in reality. Because some folks are out here, I'm telling y'all, man, I'm not knocking anybody for stuff that they say. Because everybody can have their own opinion and say what they want without me getting offended. But I'm just telling you the realistic, I'm just giving us the real. What player could you bring in here? And this even defeats the Micah Parsons, the Micah Parsons argument. The defense would look better with Micah Parsons. So let's get that out of the way. But the issue is how much better. We watched this defense with Micah Parsons. We watched it with Micah Parsons. And it didn't look good until Thanksgiving. It didn't even look good. And it didn't. And when you think about when we say it looked good, that was against the New York bleeping Giants with, I forget the quarterback name. I mean, they had a trash quarterback. They had a trash quarterback. And it was Thanksgiving when they finally said, yeah, we finally got the defense. They look better. They were not last in the league, dog terrible. But let's stop pretending like Mike Zimmer pushed the defense to a top 10 defense. when I hear him say the process, and we laughed about it yesterday because it sounds like Jason Garrett. But I'm just telling you, there is a process in place. It's a process in place. And the offense, all these people talking this dumb talk, yeah, let's trade George Pickens. Why would Jerry trade George Pickens? When George Pickens has absolutely fixed the offense. Jerry fixed the offense with George Pickens. It's fixed. Yeah, we got to tweak the left and the right tackle, but for the most part, it's fixed. Man, you can plug and play in this. The way this offense is set up, as long as they have Dak, George Pickens, CeeDee Lamb, Jake Ferguson, Kevontae Turpin, even the running game is, it can plug and play. If the Cowboys decided not to extend Javonte Williams, they could literally go get the best back in the draft next year with one of those first-round draft picks or a top 3 running back, and it's still flowing. It's still flowing, absolutely flowing. The offense is fixed. The defense is going to take more time. The defense is going to take more time because the defense needs an entire blow-up. I don't know. People might not like that. It needs a total blow-up. They can't do no more. Okay, bring in this player, bring in a new defensive coordinator, and then bring in 1 or 2 players. And then the defense, no. And if the Cowboys bring in another defensive coordinator, and I'm not crying if they do, but the first thing the Cowboys need to do is don't make the same mistake they made with Matt Eberflus. I'm telling y'all right now, our memory is very short. I'm going to have to start digging through the archives so I can keep people in remembrance. Matt Eberflus said something that I thought was very strange when they first got him. When they started asking him about stopping the run and all of these things to do on defense, a lot of people don't remember what Matt Eberflus said, but I do. He said you need the players for that. He said you need the players for that. Matt Eberflus, we don't even realize it, but he told Clarence Hill straight up, and we're not even paying attention to it. He said, you need the players. Question is, and everybody's got to be honest with themselves, do the Cowboys have the players defensively? Micah Parsons would have helped, but he's not enough. They still needed more pieces even with Micah. Micah don't solve Donovan Wilson, Malik Hooker, Kyer Elam. He don't solve Trevon Diggs not being 100%. He doesn't solve the fact that these linebackers, poor gap control, haven't been good all season. He doesn't control Jack Sanborn being in quicksand. Doesn't control Murray nowhere near what people thought he was going to be. Micah Parsons don't fix none of that. As a matter of fact, he doesn't even mask any of that because he couldn't mask it last year. He couldn't. He could not mask it last year. A lot of people don't realize the Cowboys had success down the stretch because down the stretch when Dak Prescott went out, unfortunately, that was what we were calling the soft part of our schedule. We were trying to make it to that point with Dak Prescott because we knew if we got to the soft part of the schedule, we could make a run. And if y'all got short memory, I don't. Because this is exactly what people were saying at the beginning of the season when we were struggling. If we can just get to the soft part of the schedule. There's a reason why Cooper Rush was able to lead the Cowboys to some victories. Look at the teams he beat. Look at the teams we beat down the stretch. And some of those teams we beat, some of those teams were by incredible plays. Cavante Turpin returned against the Washington Commanders. Anybody in that first game? Anybody remember that? That game was boring as watching paint dry. And then in the fourth quarter, we just watched, the craziest set of events we ever seen in our life in a game, I bet you. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Bland took the ball away from, I think it was Bland who took the ball away. It was just crazy stuff going on how we were winning in the end. Micah would have helped. But boy, when you talking about where we are now, boy, we better stop acting like Micah would have got us to number 20. No, Micah ain't getting us no doggone rank number 20. The defense has been bad. That's the part we don't want to admit. It's been bad. And so the next part of the process that we're going to have to get ready for is the Cowboys have got to blow up the defense. They got to blow up the defense. They can't just say, hey, we're going to bring in a new defense coordinator with these players. No. Actually, we got to stop hanging on to some of these players. And the Cowboys have got to go and just replace some of these doggone players. Bottom line. And we got people out here ready for the Cowboys. Hey, throw away all those picks. Just throw them all away. On a 3-4-1 seat. What are we now? 3-4-1? There are only a couple of players out there right now that if I'm the Cowboys, I'm willing to throw away them picks on. There are only a couple. Everybody else, ain't no way. Ain't no way. There's only a couple of players I'm willing to throw them picks on. And I'm telling you now, there is one player that has dropped off that list. I'm not giving those picks for Trey Hendrickson. Trey Hendrickson has a hip injury and don't nobody know what's going on with him. There are only two players, if I'm the Cowboys, that those draft picks are even worth a consideration. And right now they seem pretty far-fetched. Max Crosby, Myles Garrett. I am not giving 2 number ones for Trey Hendrickson. I'm not dealing with a 1-year rental on Trey Hendrickson. And then we right back to square one trying to deal with a contract. And then he might even want more money. Nope. Not dealing with Trey Hendrickson. The only 2 players that I would give up those picks for, Max Crosby, Myles Garrett. Everybody else, no. No, nobody else. But again, let's get into more. I'm sorry. I'm just telling this, man, when I hear Brian Schottenheimer, I'm hearing exactly what he's saying. There is a process in place. There's a process in place. And Brian is trying his best to hold this team together because I think they have all realized internally. There is not a one player that can fix what we got going on right now. We don't have a one-player problem. That's why I'm telling y'all Michael Parsons would have helped, but it wouldn't have been what we think. Because I saw it last year with Michael Parsons before he got injured, and it stunk. I saw it after Michael Parsons, and it stunk depending upon who we played. So they don't have a one-person problem on defense. The Cowboys have a multiple personnel problem on defense. This defense is being held together at the seams with doggone super glue and pixie sticks super glue and popsicle sticks right now. This stuff being held together with super glue and popsicle sticks, man. They're barely holding this thing together. It's funny to me because we talking about the safeties coming back. We were trash with the safeties. What? Okay, bringing the safeties back. What they gonna do? They gonna make us less trash? We were trash with the safeties. I'm telling us, Brian is explaining something to us that the fan base, the media, and everyone is ignoring. Bro, there is a process in place. And we're just going to have to understand the defense is a part of this process. The Cowboys, I'm telling you, they're going to do one of two things next season. They're going to do one of two things. They're either going to keep Matt Eberflus and turn over a lot of these defensive players. They're going to keep Eberflus, turn over a lot of these players, and then they're going to go and get Matt Eberflus. At least that's what they're going to attempt to do. They're going to attempt to get the players that fit Matt Eberflus' system. Or number two, they're going to say, Matt Eberflus, it was just too bad this season. We'd love to give you another opportunity, but we're not. They're going to bring in a new defensive coordinator, and they're still going to do the same thing. They're going to turn over a lot of these players, and they're going to do it right this time. And they're going to bring in the players that fit that defensive coordinator rather than bringing in that defensive coordinator and then having a whole lot of players left over from previous defensive coordinators and then say, do something with this. I told y'all this last year and nobody listened to me. And I shouldn't say nobody. Some of y'all listened to me. I told y'all this last year when this defensive unit was struggling with Mike Zimmer's system. They were struggling with Mike Zimmer. I told y'all when they were struggling with Zimmer, it's a personnel problem. It's just and not only a personnel problem, they were spoiled by the high risk, high reward, mercenary style of defense that Dan Quinn ran when he was here. They were spoiled by that defense. People said Matt Eberflus' defense was simple. I think Dan Quinn's is simpler. Dan Quinn has a very simple philosophy to me. Everybody get to the ball. Everybody get to the ball. Dan Quinn, everybody get to the ball. Let's get a turnover. Strip, punch it out, do whatever you got to do. Dan Quinn's defense is also, this is where Dan Quinn supersedes Zimmer, and this is where he supersedes now Matt Eberflus. Mike Zimmer's defense is designed to me. His defense to me is designed to kind of protect the lead. His defense protects the lead because Zimmer is kind of in that bend, don't break stuff too. Matt Eberflus, his defense is kind of designed to protect a lead. Dan Quinn's defense, it's designed to play with a lead. If you get a lead for a Dan Quinn defense, you probably winning. You probably winning with a Dan Quinn defense. Because he's going to protect that lead, because he's going to blitz you all day long, all different kinds of places. I mean, Dan Quinn is relentless. He's like a, man, I'm telling you, boy, he's like a shark with blood in the water once he gets a lead. If Dan Quinn got them horses, he send them after you. But these two defenses, we don't have the players for this type of defense. Matt Eberflus don't have the type of players he needs for this type of defense. He doesn't. And again, I'm sorry to take so long, but I'm telling you, every time I hear him say, this is the second time I heard him say it yesterday. Now I'm hearing him again. There is a process. They're telling us something, guys. They're telling us slow your roll. They're telling us slow your roll. Fixing a team is a process. I told y'all this. People don't want to hear it. I said it before the season started. You can't build the best roster in football in one season. You can't do it. I don't care what anyone says. You cannot do it. You cannot build the best roster in football in one season, because if you could, Jimmy Johnson would have did it. And a lot of people don't understand what the Cowboys pulled off in the 90s with the Herschel Walker trade. It'll never be duplicated. It'll never be duplicated. The Cowboys' success was predicated on that. Jimmy was a great coach. Jimmy had great coaches around him. Didn't have immediate success. But I'm telling you, go back and look at the history books. That Herschel Walker trade set that team off. It set that team off. With the combination of the kind of coach that Jimmy was, and with the combination of Jerry letting Jimmy do his job, and Jerry just staying in the marketing department, signing the checks, listening to what Jimmy told him. If it sounded good, he did it. I'm telling this, and I'm sure Jimmy talks some football. I mean, Jerry talks some football too. But every time I hear this process thing, I know what he's saying. Y'all need to understand. They know what this is. We acting like Brian Schottenheimer was supposed to come in here in the first season and take us to the Super Bowl. That would be great if he did. But I told y'all before the season started, there's only 2 coaches that have ever done that in NFL history. And both of those coaches were already on those teams. And those teams were super teams. When George Seifert took over for the San Francisco 49ers, they were already a super team. They were a super team. Offensively and defensively, they were a super team. This is a whole different ball game. It's a process. And I'm telling you, we don't have to like what I'm saying because a lot of people don't want to hear it, but I'm just telling you the truth. There is no one player fix for this team. It isn't. And any player that we're getting right now, understand, we don't need no one-year rentals. Whatever player the Cowboys gets at the trade deadline, that player, if they do a 1 or 2, those players can't be one-year rentals. They have to be players that when the Cowboys bring them in, they're under contract. Now, if they want to do some of that one-year rental stuff, just maybe there'll be some teams that'll just cut some players. You want to bring some of them in? Bring them in. Bring some of those in. I mean, you get somebody you get on a 5th or a 6th round draft pick, trade or whatever, okay, bring them in. But as far as the 1s and the 2s, no one-year rentals. No one-year rentals at all. No one-year rentals. And even if you get Myles Garrett, understand something. Myles Garrett ain't going to turn this defense from a number 32 defense to a number 2 defense. He's not going to turn it from a 32 to a 12, and he's not going to turn it from a 32, more than likely even to a 22. Man, if he could get close, if they could get close, that'd be great, because I think this team would excel even with a number 22 or 23 defense. Myles Garrett will be a part of the plan for the next 2 to 3 years. That's why you'd bring in Myles Garrett. That's why you'd give up those players for Myles Garrett. That's why you would give up those players for Max Crosby. But any of this other stuff, man, ain't nobody giving up no doggone first-round draft picks for guys you're going to have to sit down with next year or in another year and be talking about dealing with a doggone contract. Man, forget that stuff. Brian is telling us it's a process, and whether we accept it or not, it is. Let me read a couple of comments. Ron Hanna, he said, say it again, G. Jimmy did that, and yes, never will happen again. I'll promise you that. It'll never be duplicated. It'll never be duplicated, man. I'm telling you. Yeah, star guarding X. He said, great example. Dan Campbell in Detroit, taking 2 years. Oh, you just wait, star guarding X. I got some for them people who've been talking about the Detroit Lions. Y'all got something for them. Junior, he said, what up, G? Appreciate that $20 super chat. Junior, you're making a great point. He said, you're right about Quinn's defense. However, his defense doesn't work in the playoffs. And this is one of the reasons why the Atlanta Falcons let him go. Because it was his defense that allowed Tom Brady to come back in that Super Bowl. He says you cannot predicate your defense on turnovers alone. That's why his defense fails in the playoffs. This was always a rebuild. Junior, I try to tell people. I said it. I said you don't build a championship level team from where the Cowboys were. Man, you don't do that in one season. And this is why I'm telling y'all right now. Y'all better consider it a victory if the Cowboys get to the playoffs. Because I consider it a victory if they get to the playoffs. With this defense, I consider it to be a victory. I do. Merrill Ray, let me tell you something, man. I would have believed you maybe. Merrill Ray, I would have believed you maybe a year or two ago. I would have believed you. Bill Belichick has been a shell of himself since Tom Brady left the New England Patriots. He's been a shell of himself. And what this dude is doing out in Carolina, this dude is too old to be letting a young lady run and ruin his life. Nah, man, he couldn't do nothing for us. Bill Belichick can't even do nothing with them college kids. With some of the, you're talking about Bill Belichick going in the living rooms recruiting. He should have one of the, and with the portal, man, Bill Belichick is an absolute joke now. It's a shame.
Any less or more than we can, and there's always going to be noise, and there's always going to be speculation and things like that, but our focus is really truly just on one day at a time, get ready for Arizona, and so I don't go too much into that.
It's a process.
Brian Sauerks with ESPN. CD had, besides the Chicago game, had his lowest play time of the season, and maybe some of that's due to the end of the game. He brought in the backups for the last drive, but even before that, he was going in and out of the lineup. What was wrong?
Yeah, I don't think there's anything wrong. I think, again, he's, there's different personnel tags. We certainly don't have many that take him out of the game, but there are a few things that we will put somebody else in to do certain jobs. I won't tell you all the jobs that those guys do, but yeah, I think it was more of a deal. We knew it was going to be a long game playing, in Denver and playing a good team, and I really don't think it was anything, concerning. No, absolutely not. No, he's feeling good.
And then, as everything with this season comes back to Micah and the trade and all that stuff, did you guys underestimate in any way what he does for guys around him, or overestimate what you guys had remaining after the trade?
No, Todd, I think Mike is certainly a great player. And we all know that. No one will ever point to the fact that Mike is not a credible player. But defense is about more than just one guy. I mean, like, some of our defensive struggles have not been because of one guy not doing the right thing, and it's not been, one assignment. It hasn't been one defense, whether it's man, zone, whatever. It's been, what team defense is about. I saw a crazy stat. Myles Garrett, somebody said, had 5 sacks last game, and they lost.
Yep.
I mean, this is the ultimate team game, and defense, and the more I spend time over there, you realize, I guess as the offensive guy, I just kind of always took it for granted because we had our own issues. But, if you're not aligned perfectly in terms of your fits and things like that, it makes it really, really difficult. And so, again, I all respect to Micah, what a great player, but, team defense is what we need to play better.
Facts. Brian is saying the same thing I said. We are in la-la land as it pertains to Micah Parsons. Our memory is too short. We were struggling with Micah Parsons last year before he got hurt. Absolute struggling. Would the defense have been better? Yes. How much better? How much better? And again, I don't understand how people would actually believe. What? So what does Michael Parsons do? Does the team tackle better? Do they take better angles because of Michael Parsons? Do they become more physical because of Michael Parsons? Because I'm going to tell you, they don't. They don't. They don't do all those things because of Michael Parsons. And that's why I'm just telling you, y'all might not accept what I'm telling you. And you might even think it sounds crazy. I think the Cowboys kind of knew what to expect without Michael Parsons. The Cowboys didn't think Dante Fowler was as good as Michael Parsons, Sam Williams, James Houston, Donovan Ezeraku, even though I thought he was the later on, not in the next 3 to 4 years, I thought he would be the Michael Parsons replacement after the first deal was up with Michael Parsons after the extension. Cowboys aren't that dumb. Nobody is. Now, I think there might be a little bit of hyperbole of, I think they might have overestimated how good Dante Fowler was going to be, and especially Sam Williams. Man, this dude, Sam Williams, was talking so much noise. Man, he had me just fired up. I'm like, man, Sam Williams is going to tear it up when he gets on the field. Shh. Boy, Sam Williams has done anything but tear it up. Michael Parsons does not affect the individual performances of these players of what we're watching. I mean, Foots the King, shout out to him. Man, I've been looking at some of the stuff that he's been putting up on X. Man, if you go look at the film, man, Michael, and man, ain't nobody fixing that. I don't know how you fix effort. Y'all got to tell me, but I don't know how you fix effort. I don't know how you fix it. You either cut it. I don't know. You cut it. What do you do with it? You tell somebody to give better effort. They don't. You cut them. You coach them. You coach them. They don't do it. You coach them. They don't do it. You cut them. I don't know what else to tell us. Mills 36. He said, "What's the point of 2025?" Mills, listen to what I said very carefully. I don't want you to get discouraged. It is not that the Cowboys didn't come into 2025 with the intentions of winning. They did and they do have the intentions of winning. Now, the Joe Milton thing, the only thing that Joe Milton does better than Dak Prescott is throw a deep ball. Joe Milton in no universe is better than Dak Prescott. And to say that Dak can't get it done in 10 seasons, this is, again, I'm glad we got that thinking out of here. Because if there has ever been a season that has shown that Dak Prescott is not the problem, it is 2025. Dak Prescott is not the problem. Dak Prescott is the solution. He is not the problem. And even last week, we're mad at Dak Prescott because of a bad game plan. And even now, if you're listening to Brian Schottenheimer, I posted this on X today. I got serious concerns. Because Brian Schottenheimer, if y'all notice, he keeps saying he's spending more and more time in the defense room. He's spending more and more time in there. And my concern is the more time he spends in there, that's the less time he spends in there with that offense. Clayton Adams is an offensive coordinator who in reality is not an offensive coordinator. That is not what he does. That's not what he does. He is in here right now, at least. His biggest impact has been his blocking schemes. So the more time he spends in that defensive room, Now I'm going to really be putting my eyes on the offense and how does this affect the offense? Because I'm telling you, last week, it was his worst game. It was the worst game that Brian Schottenheimer has called. And the bad thing is when you start doing stuff like this, you rob Peter to pay Paul. You rob Peter to pay Paul, so you got to be careful. Rose, he said we need to go defense for the next 2 drafts. Exactly. Next year, you're going to see a very heavy defense free agency and a heavy draft, a heavy defense draft. Now, the Cowboys have got to make a decision. Because if they keep Matt Eberflus or they're going to fire him. But this is the decision they got to make, though. Don't get another player on defense when the season ends. Don't add another player on defense until you decide who's going to be the defense coordinator. And then, and only then, you get players to fit that scheme. Don't you get another player. Understand what that man's scheme is, and don't force him to keep Malik Hooker and Donovan Wilson as safety. Because you're just going to sabotage him. You bring a defense coordinator in here and you force him to use Malik Hooker and Donovan Wilson. You are sabotaging him. If you force him to, other than the players, now he's going to have to accept whoever this defense coordinator is. He's going to have to accept the players that you've already committed to. Deron Bland, he'll have to accept that. Demarion Overshown, he'll have to accept that. Kenny Clark, Oso Digizua, Donovan Ezraku, James Houston should be one of those guys. Jadeveon Clowney should be one of those guys. They'll have to commit to that. But all the rest of it, blow it up. Blow it up. That's what you're going to have to do. Mills, this is always, man, I told you from the beginning. You don't have to accept it, but you know you've been hearing me say this. This has always been about 2026. Told y'all. I don't care who hate me, love me, or like me for it. I told y'all. This has always been about 2026, 2027 at the latest. Mills, we're going to get to this when we get to high expectations. I'm going to save these. I'm going to save a lot of these comments because I'm just telling y'all, man. I'm telling y'all. And Poobie D is exactly right. He said we need personnel. A lot of y'all are understanding this. We need personnel. We don't have the personnel on defense. Straight up, we don't have it. We don't have the defense on personnel, but we got the offense. We had to, Randy, we had to get Pickens. The offense didn't need a rebuild. Just because you rebuild don't mean you have to rebuild the whole team. The offense was pretty much, what is the only thing we said? There was only 2 things we said we were missing from the offense. What were those 2 things? We needed a number 2 wide receiver. Who were we looking at in the draft? Tedder McMillan. We didn't get Ted McMillan. We got Booker in the place. Who did the Cowboys go get for us? George Pickens. I'm telling y'all right now. Tedder McMillan, I like him. He ain't close to what George Pickens is. Ted McMillan ain't close to what George Pickens is. We fixed that part that we said needed fixing. What was the other part we said needed fixing? We said we needed a run game. What did we do? We got Tyler Booker. We had already got Tyler Guyton. We already had Ty Smith. We got Cooper Beebe. Had Terrence Steele. What do we need? A running game. We let go of Rico Dowdle. We went and got Javonte Williams. Did we fix it or not? We fixed it. We fixed those 2 issues on the offense. That's a part of a rebuild. We needed them. But what really needs to be rebuilt be rebuilt is the defense. And we're just going to have to admit what we did on the defense. We thought some of these players were going to come in here and they were going to tear it up. Man, we done found out now these players were nothing but a bunch of replacement tires that you get at the used tire place. People try to get them like these are all, people try to go get used tires, acting like used tires are supposed to last them for 2 years. Man, used tires are what they are, used tires. Then have a blowout on the freeway, be shocked. Man, I just bought that used tire. It's a used tire. The defense don't have the overhaul yet. It is what it is. And I'm not telling you the Cowboys aren't trying to win, because they are. They're trying to win with what they have. But we've gotten to a point in this season, the Cowboys are telling us this stuff and we're not listening to them. There is no single player that they can bring in. That's the point we're at right now. So any player the Cowboys bring in right now, it's got to be a player that's already under contract so he can be a part of the plan for next year in 2027. That's why Max Crosby and Myles Garrett make so much sense. Those two players make so much sense because I believe the players the Cowboys need, they're going to have to go get them. We're going to talk about trading here in a moment. Let's listen to the rest of the shot. I want to get through this so I can make sure I get to the trade portion before I get out of here today.
Do you have enough guys to play that? Have the guys you've had not played to the potential that you guys thought it would?
No, I think, none of us have done good enough. I mean, coaches, players, head coach, none of us have done good enough. That's real. I mean, our scorecard is what it is, and that's not just, defensively, that's offensively, We're a football team that's 3-4-1. You can take the stats on offense and, as far as I'm concerned, I mean, is what it is. We want to win, and people talk about, hey, MVP and this and that. Dak Prescott doesn't want to win MVP. He wants to win a Super Bowl, and that's what we want to win. And we're not there yet. We've not played that consistently well enough to certainly be in that discussion, but it doesn't mean the journey stops. It certainly doesn't stop. It just, you get more focused, you get more intentional, and we got to do it together.
John Machado with The Athletic, Arizona.
Yeah, see, the Cowboys are trying to win. But understand the other part he's saying. They're trying to win with the guys in the building. Boy, I'm telling you, that's hard to swallow, but I'm just telling you. They're trying to win with the guys in the building. That's the same message that Dak Prescott sent on Sunday night. Dak said it. You can hate Dak if you want to. He said we like our guys. They're trying to win with the guys in the building. Straight up. Dak Van for life. Appreciate that super chat. He said we're still 3-4-1 if Michael was here, period. I believe so too. We saw last year where Michael couldn't elevate us in games that we had to have those games to win. He couldn't do it by himself. No, this defense needs personnel, period. Junior says Sam Williams represents everything the Cowboys were the past years. Talk. He needs to go. Man, this dude, Sam Williams, people thought Sam Williams was going to come in this thing and tear it up. Sam Williams ain't tore up nothing but a piece of paper. I don't even think he turned that right now. Sam should be better than he is right now. And I understand he's coming off injury, but boy, he did a lot of talking that doggone preseason. Yeah, Allen and Jackson hasn't gotten it done yet either. And Dak Fan for life. A lot of people don't even realize it. The Baltimore Ravens may be on the verge of collapse. They may literally be on the verge of collapse because their defense, for whatever reason, ain't too good either. And they've done some things defensively, but that defense hadn't been too good either. And Josh Allen, a lot of those players, a lot of people see the Cowboys get all this national attention and we understand it. But even Josh Allen, they went and got Josh Allen, all these players in the offseason. And those doggone players, they ain't paying it out either. Those players ain't paying it out either. Yeah, Mike, we don't worry, we're gonna get to Bobby Belt. Because I'm definitely want to hear what he got to say.
Lost 5 in a row, but every one of those games are all like 3, 4, 2-point games. What have you seen from them? What stands out about them to you?
Good football team. They've had missed Kyler for a few games. He's obviously a dynamic.
Hold on a second. My man, Danny, Dallas Cowboys, let's go. He said Schottenheimer like Mike McCarthy 2.0, talking like a clown. I see you, Danny.
Player, and they've been a little bit beat up, like a lot of teams in the league. But I see a team that's hungry. They play you hard. They have lost some close games. I know on defense, they went out. They spent quite a bit of money on adding guys like Calais Campbell and good players like that. Buda Baker, this guy, he just doesn't get enough credit for what a great football player he is. I saw him literally in a game when I was in Seattle, literally take out 2 of our running backs. He plays the game the right way, and not enough people talk about what an elite player he is. And they want to run the football. They want to get the ball, obviously, to McBride. He's a really good weapon. And I just think that they're like everybody. They're aggressive defensively. They're very multiple. They do a lot. Nick Rallis is a really sharp defensive coordinator. Puts his guys in good positions, and they're a good football team. Don't let the record fool you.
And then with Kyler Murray, it'll be a big story this week. Obviously, he's 9-0 at AT&T Stadium, going back to high school. Do you think any of that stuff even matters? Is that even something that you even would talk or mention to your team?
No, I don't think so. Hopefully it means he's due to lose one. Kyler, if you want to help. But no, I think, obviously you can't speak about Kyler Murray without talking about what an incredible player he was at Allen and in high school. And, one of maybe the greatest high school quarterbacks of all time. He's in that discussion. But, I'm sure he'll be excited to come back here and very comfortable playing here. But, again, whether you play at AT&T Stadium, you play out in Arizona, you play in a neutral site, he's still a damn good football player.
I agree,
They're a
Poopy D.
good football team, and we're going to have to play well to beat them.
Yep.
Nick Harris,
he stopped recycling the same defense coordinators. Need fresh ideas. I agree.
Did you evaluate him at all, or look at his high school tape from that context?
I don't think so. I remember I've known the name for a long time. Because you couldn't open up an article, or I guess the internet was rolling back then. But you'd hear his name, this kid from Allen, Texas, and the more you study him and you jump into it, which I did. A little bit, you always see the crossover tape, but when you study them like you kind of do this week and like we've done this week, sitting in some of the meetings, you just see the incredible speed and quickness and agility, but the passer is pretty elite too. So presents a lot of problems for you defensively. And it's one of those situations that, again, you can get pressure on him, but he's hard to get down. He doesn't get sacked very often. Nick, he gets out in space, and then, you have the perfect contain plan, but he's so quick and so fast, he's able to avoid it and get outside. And that's why we got to do a really good job, not just up to the 2.3, but beyond with our coverage responsibility.
You guys are opening the window for Perry on Winfrey today. What do you hope to see from him this week?
Yeah, again, just looking to get depth. Here's a guy that, again, has good flexibility for us, can play inside, can play outside, love his play style. That's a big part of what we're looking for. All 11 guys, just playing hard, playing to the whistle, playing on the edge without going over the edge, and that's all he knows. And so I know he's worked really hard to get back and feels great, and he's excited.
And then where is Josh Butler in his recovery right
now? Again, I think Josh is doing everything that he's supposed to. I think he's another guy that at any moment we probably could, lean on, but right now, he's doing an awesome job with Britt and those guys, and he's chomping at the bit. I have kind of a line of people at my door every couple of days of guys that want to get back out there and help us, and that's how you have the right chemistry in the locker room, the right culture, because these guys see us struggling in some areas, and they want to help, and I love that.
Tommy R.
Poopy D, I think this is a very good comment. You said, what has Eberflus changed since last year? They look better this year. That's why they fired him. That's why they fired him. That's why they fired him. And I think the Cowboys hired him. They should not have hired a head coach that was freshly fired. I know some people have done it before. I just don't think it was a good move. And let me tag on to what you're saying with what Merrill Ray said, because this goes along with what I said. You need super studs to run Matt Eberflus's defense. Merrill Ray said to win with Matt Eberflus and the Tampa 2, you need Warren Sapp, Simeon Rice, Derek Brooks, John Lynch, and Rondé Barber. Facts on top of facts on top of facts on top of facts. Dan Quinn, let me tell you something. I think Dan Quinn would eat with this defense. I'm not telling you that Dan Quinn would take us to the Super Bowl with this defense, but I think Dan Quinn, this defense, Dan Quinn would eat. And again, I'm not saying Dan Quinn would have us at number 10 or 15. I bet you he wouldn't have us at number 32. Not with this defense. Not with what they had when they were all healthy. They're not. Even without Michael Parsons, Dan Quinn would do better with this defense. James Houston, Jadeveon Clowney, and Donovan Ezraku. Dan Quinn would eat with this. Dan Quinn would eat. I'm telling you. You give him linebackers? Shoot. Man, Dan Quinn would eat with this. Matt Eberflus needs super stud players to do what he wants to do. He does. He needs super stud players. And the problem is, it's probably not realistic. You got to stay in reality. You're going to have some you're going to have some superstar players on defense, maybe one at every position group. And if you're lucky, you might get two in a position group. But you're not going to have superstars at every position group. I think they made a mistake hiring Eberflus. I do. I think they made a mistake. Flat out, I think they made a mistake. He's doing some of the same things here that he did in Chicago. He needed to sit his butt down somewhere for maybe a couple of years so that he could truly evaluate kind of what went wrong in Chicago. He probably thinking now that he's in Dallas, he didn't do anything wrong. But I think some of the things he did there was seeing it here in Dallas. And case in point, maybe even the Trayvon Diggs situation. He's doing some of the same things here he did there. Jaden Justin, what up? He said you also got a lot of undisciplined players from the last staff. Got to get rid of those cancers. Hey, Jaden Justin, that's why I'm telling us. This is a combination of things. It's not just the fact that Matt Eberflus is bad. I think he is bad. And the reason why I think he's bad is not because he's bad because he's dumb and he doesn't know football. I think he does know football. I think his problem is his stubbornness. Bro, you're going to have to admit you just don't have the personnel. So maybe you just say, man, you know what, man, I'm just going to do what I got to do so we can get some wins. Let me see what these guys are. Deron Bland said the week of the Commanders game, he asked them, what did they like? What did they do best? So the Commanders game, we know that they were missing the first, second, and third receiver. And the Commanders I think basically the Commanders are pretty much injury riddled. And so you get back against the Denver Broncos, and don't let me poo-poo on the Denver Broncos because they're a very good team. It's a reason why they're 9-0, I guess 10-0 now at home or whatever they are. But I'm just telling us that at the end of the day, Cowboys made a mistake with Matt Eberflus. It's the bottom line. They made a mistake. Yeah, Brandon, most of those players would have been cut on other teams. And see, Brandy, this is the discussion that they're probably having about Matt Eberflus. This is the problem. This is probably what they're discussing about Matt Eberflus. They might be in a room saying he doesn't have the players. We're gonna see if this is true. Paul Brown, he said, another content creator has said he can fix the Cowboys so well, can lead them to the ultimate goal. First, with 3. Hold on. He said another content said he can fix the Cowboys so well. Let me read this. He said he can lead them to the ultimate goal. He said first with 3 picks and then 1. Oh, he said Stephon Gilmore, hiring the Mario Davis and the Mario Nova show. Man, I'm just telling us, there is no simple fix. There's no simple fix for this defense, and I'm just being 100% honest. There is no simple fix. It's not. There's just no simple fix. It's truth.
DallasCowboys.com. Jerry was talking about yesterday how one of the changes defensively this week, coach is spending some more time in the linebacker room specifically. Has that been the case? Have you been in there? And if so, what do you say to them, and what do you kind of try to tell them in terms of how to get the ship back on track?
Well, like I said the other day, I think Monday somebody asked me about it. I mean, the linebackers, obviously, they get everything started. And, they're the ones making the call, number one, with the green dot, with K9. And then they got to set the front, based on how we want to go, whether it's close right, close left. And the biggest thing for us is the focus of making sure that we can kind of, like I said, see less. Right now we're seeing too much, and so therefore our fits aren't exactly right. Is it them every time? No. But it's more of an emphasis of, hey, these guys have some indicators and things that we want to be on top of, and so it's just a big, push for myself and Flus and guys like that to make sure that, these guys are doing the things they need to do to see less. And because a lot of times your defense will go how your linebackers play because of the proximity to where they are to the ball.
And you were talking about with Arizona, how they've had some close losses. You have as well this year. And there's no textbook answer for finishing close games, but what do you feel like in your mind gives teams the best chance to finish and win in those close one-possession games when it comes down to the wire?
Yeah, I'm probably old school on that, Tommy. I mean, I think it comes down to confidence. I think when you've done it before or multiple times, you watch some teams that they find a way to win a lot of games. It carries over to the next time you're in that situation. Most of these games in this league are going to come down to, close games. And, we know we've got a quarterback that knows how to win. We know we've got talented players on both sides of the ball. We know we've got a kicker that can kick it from, Midland through the.
Well, I got to give Brian Schottenheimer credit. Brian Schottenheimer is holding this team together with super glue and popsicle sticks. This man goes out of his way to not talk bad about his defense. Now, he'll take a shot here and there, but this man does everything he can do to protect his defense. I got to give him credit for that, man.
The uprights. I mean, we have those things, but you draw back on the experience of the close games and finding a way to battle back against the Giants and things like that. So,
what up, Lisa Worley?
I think it comes down to confidence.
Skyler Dixon with DAP. Monday night game, bye week, Monday night game. You've been other places. You've been here a few years. Is it real that the Cowboys' schedule is quirkier than most just because of the profile and stuff?
That's a good question, Skyler. I mean, this year certainly it is. I mean, you can't say that it's not. I mean, the multiple Thursday night games in this schedule, but I don't think they're doing that to penalize us. I think people love or hate the Cowboys, and that's part of why we play how we play, where we play, and whatnot. But again, it really doesn't matter. These guys would go and play anybody, anytime, anywhere. But I can't say that it's not something that is definitely noticeable when you look at the schedule. And the Thursdays and things like that are a little different.
And then the extra day this week, obviously, and then the extra day coming out of the bye. What difference does that make? Does that help in terms of recovery and all those kinds of things, sort of mini buys, however you want to look at it?
Yeah, well, like this week, for example, we're going to work normal today and tomorrow, and then Friday will be kind of we're calling it a bonus day. It's a chance to kind of look back on our first, second, and third down plan to tighten up some things there. We won't really do anything on the field other than a mock, kind of a walk tempo, because we really don't want these guys having to run 4 days in a row, and then Friday, Saturday of the, not the week, but of the, so Saturday, Sunday, we'll get back to our normal routine. But
y'all tell me what y'all think about what he's saying. I wonder if this is one of the problems, with this new NFL. It's like they don't want to practice too hard. They don't want to hit too many days. They don't want to practice so many days. I know it's a physical game, but I wonder if that takes away. I wonder if that takes away from certain teams. Because if you already have a team that's not physical, how do you get that team to be physical when you can't even have physical practices to try to help a team be physical? Just wonder about that.
You use that. And we need that for mental reps. We need that for communication. We need that to tighten up some of the things that, again, going back to Tommy's question, what we're seeing, and great chance to dive into more film and let them see Arizona, and what they're doing offensively, what they're doing defensively, because they do create problems defensively with some of their alignments and the multiple fronts that they play and the different personnel. They got 3 safeties and they do things like that. So I think the extra day will be big for their bodies, talking about our players, but also for them to see more and more game film, because you'd be surprised how much game film you really don't get to watch, because you're watching more cut-ups and things like that based on the situation of the day.
Big.
Dave Loffner, 105.3 The Fan, Cowboys Radio. Brian, so you talked about Kyler Murray being out the last couple of games, but with Brissett, they've been better every statistical category across the board: yards, third downs, throwing for 100 more yards a game. So what do you see when you look at those 2 games compared to what they were doing previously? Why have they been?
Well, I'm a huge Jacoby Brissett fan. I had him in Indianapolis, babe, and he's one of my favorite guys ever. I think maybe it's because after, we were surprised that Andrew couldn't come back. Talking about Andrew Luck, of course.
Let me read a couple of super chats. I like something that Junior says here. Appreciate that super chat. I like what Junior says here. And actually, this is what I said. I do agree with this. I don't know if you heard what I said, Junior. I said, but the Cowboys got to do 1 or 2 things as far as it applies to the defense coordinator. They're either going to keep Matt Eberflus and get Matt Eberflus the players he wants, or if they let go of Matt Eberflus, then they're going to bring in the next defense coordinator and please get him the player that he wants, the players that he wants and needs for that system. But don't bring them in and make them have to accept certain players. Junior says, have to disagree about Eberflus. You have to give him players before we can evaluate him. If we give him players and he fails, then we fire him. Yeah, I can tell you this, Junior. Boy, I don't think a lot of people Boy, Junior, let me tell you something. I think that's what they're going to do. I actually think that's what they're going to do. But if they do it, boy, it better work. Alvin Newbern, what up with you? Welcome to the congregation. Appreciate that super chat. He said, how can Dallas improve drafting defensive guys? Alvin, I showed it the other day. Cowboys have been terrible at drafting defense. They've been terrible. Boy, they have been terrible. Now, this year, we'll see how it turns out. But Savon Revel Jr., if he turns out, that's going to be a steal. 3rd rounder. Should have been a first had he not got hurt. Shamar James is looking pretty good. I don't know about Jay Toya. But I'm going to tell you, Donovan Ezeraku going to be one of them. Everybody who's been watching film on Donovan Ezeraku, they're all coming to the same conclusion. Man, Donovan Ezeraku is balling out there. So maybe Shotty can have some more influence on him, and they'll get better even at defense next year. But I think one of the biggest issues is, even if Matt Eberflus is good, Junior, you tell me what you think. I don't think he matches, though. I just don't think he matches Brian Schottenheimer. Brian Schottenheimer, to me, seems like he needs an intense defensive coordinator. I still say they should have got Robert Saleh, but the Cowboys are cheap, and they wouldn't have wanted to pay what they would have had to pay to get Robert Saleh, because it would have been well above what Brian Schottenheimer's making. But again, they should have probably paid Brian Schottenheimer a little bit more, but he's a first-time coach, so you can do that to him. But I think they need a more intense coach, and I think that would even help with some of the defensive drafting. True Texan said offense playing like a team together. Yeah, defense on the other hand, The line is playing like a bunch of individual knuckleheads coached by a hard head, in my opinion. Yeah. Hey, Michio, I forgot to tell you. Poobie D. Y'all make sure my email address, y'all get that off my channel. I gave y'all the wrong email address. I forgot it's Let's Talk Cowboys GBJ at gmail.com. I'm going to put that down here in the thing. Maybe that's why I didn't get some of those doggone those scores for the t-shirts, because I was looking for the scores, couldn't find them. So y'all probably been sending them to Let's Talk Cowboys at gmail.com. Let's Talk Cowboys GBJ at gmail.com. Poobie D, Lamar and Allen choke, but you want them over Dak, right? Lamar chokes. Pff, man, let me tell you, I think they might be on the verge of collapse. The Baltimore Ravens may be on the verge of collapse, man. They got some stuff going on over there, too.
We traded for Jacoby during the bye before the first game, and I think there's something about Jacoby. I'll brag on him for a minute, just the type of leader he is and things like that. His arm talent's incredible, but they do play a little different. They played more from under center than they do with Kyler, and with Kyler they're in the gun more and they do a little bit more pistol and things like that. Jacoby's not going to run a whole lot. He's not going to run some of the counter read schemes that they do with Kyler, so that certainly looks different. But again, I think they're very comfortable with both quarterbacks, and certainly Kyler's.
I'm telling y'all right now, if Jacoby Brissett plays quarterback for the Arizona Cardinals this week, you can definitely book that win. Kyler Murray will give the Cowboys more problems than Jacoby Brissett. Jacoby Brissett he's the perfect quarterback for the Cowboys to play. Jacoby Brissett, like he just said, man, he ain't gonna do no running. Man, you play Jacoby Brissett, man, it's probably automatic win. Automatic win. Man, I bet this defense will look totally different against a quarterback like Jacoby Brissett this week. We're gonna see. But Kyler Murray has been stinking it up too. I watched Kyler Murray a couple times this year. He's been stinking it up too. But I don't know. Quarterbacks will look pretty good against us. But I think the Cowboys could deal with him. I really do. I think they could deal with him.
Starter, but I'm not surprised that they played well with Jacoby. He's a incredible competitor and incredible young man.
You've been in a situation as the offensive coordinator or whatnot where you start doing some things differently because you have to, because of the personnel, but then all of a sudden you say, hey, maybe we should do a little more of this. I mean, do you expect some of that?
Yeah, potentially. Again, I think that ultimately you need to do what your players do well, and you're certainly going to start with what your quarterback does well. So, there's plenty of games from Kyler's history to look at, but, Jacoby did exactly what a good backup's supposed to do. He went in and gave him a chance, and, they didn't get.
From what I'm looking at, they're saying that Kyler Murray is going to play against Cowboys. No surprise. It's probably why he didn't want to play this last week. Want to play in Dallas against the Cowboys.
The wins on a couple of games, but he's done what he's had to do, and he's performed well.
Garrett Podell, CBS Sports. Brian, you were on the Cowboys staff when Jonathan Gannon was with the Eagles. What are your thoughts on going against him as a play caller, both he and Josh Sweat?
Really like Jonathan a lot. Good guy, damn good football coach. You saw it when you played Philadelphia.
Yeah, exactly. DJW, welcome to the congregation.
That his defenses played with. You see that.
What do you think about that lack of physicality in practice, though?
Talked about Budda Baker, Calais Campbell. But, Josh is still playing at a very high level. I think he leads the team in sacks. He's really playing on both sides. They're moving around, playing him some in the boundary. The positive thing for going up against a great player like Josh is we have some awareness of him. We've played him a number of times, and they've got good pieces. And again, when you look at this team and the way they're built, you can see Jonathan's personality.
Joe.
Joe White, Dallas Morning News. Jaden Blue had the most carries of his young career so far, had a 14-yard run, also had a fumble. What do you make of his performance on Sunday, and how important is it as the season goes on with Javonte to try and identify someone who could spell him pretty consistently?
Yeah, again, I think, you hit it best. I mean, Jaden was inconsistent in the game. He did some really good things, and there were some other things that he's got to do at a higher level. The fumble was a good hit. He needs to hold on to the ball, and actually our combination block was supposed to come off to it, and it didn't. So, again, that's a blocking issue. Again, he can continue to play and emphasize playing more physical with and without the ball. That's real. That's a young back learning the speed of the game, the physicality of the game. But to me, I'm always going to go back to the consistency. You can't put the ball on the ground. You have to, be on top of your blitz pickups. You have to do those things. And the big thing I've told him about is, like, you've got the perfect guy sitting right to your left in Javonte to learn from, who was you a couple years ago as a young rookie trying to figure it out, and lean on him. Javonte does everything right, and so Jaden's doing that. But again, I'd be remiss if I didn't talk about Malik Davis and the job he's doing for us. And we're all about creating competition. It's not just creating competition on the defensive side of the ball for jobs and who's going to play. It's on offense as well, and that would be another battle to watch.
Whew. Brian Schottenheimer, to me, I'm not saying that Jaden Blue doesn't deserve it, but Brian Schottenheimer has been really hard on Jaden Blue. And what I mean by that, how many players could Brian Schottenheimer today call out on the defense by name? I mean, Kyrie Elam comes to mind. I mean, Jack Sanborn in some of those weeks. Sam Williams. And I think he said a few things about Sam Williams before, but, boy, he really said some things about Jaden Blue. And I think he just sent Jaden Blue a message. I really think he just sent Jaden Blue a message. And a strong message. I think we're going to still see Jaden Blue. I don't know about how much, but it definitely seemed like they were about to start ramping Jaden Blue up. Now, Brian might have just gave us an indicator of, okay, we're about to escalate and elevate Malik Davis and let him be the running back duo with Javonte Williams. But I don't think you need to let Jaden Blue be the duo running back. I think he needs to be the change of pace running back.
Actually, about how the Broncos defended play action, bootlegs, kind of tight end, outlets and stuff like that. Is it simple as, when it comes to the effectiveness of that, just, hey, if you're having a good running game, that will be a little bit more mysterious? Or how do you kind of defend against
it? It helps. Yeah, I mean, it definitely helps if you got them worried about, fitting their gaps and running the ball. And if they look the same, we talk marriage all the time, right? They have to look the same. And if they're not concerned about the run game, then certainly they're going to be a little
football
less
fanatic.
Apt to pursue and flow to the football, which
I agree. I don't think he's going anywhere.
Those things. The other thing that I would say is if you're not winning first down and you're dealing with 2nd and 7 or 2nd and 8, a play pass will not be as effective as it would be on 1st and 10 or 2nd and 3, 2nd and 4, because they're not as concerned about the run.
Jeff Cole with Fox Sports. Coach, you mentioned spending more time with the defense each week. When you think back to week 1 preparing for Philly to now, like, how much more time do you feel like you're spending, and how much more are you trying to put your fingerprints on the decision making?
Yeah, it's a significant amount more, and again, that's to help. It's not to get in the way. It's to, offer my expertise on what I see and how I would attack them and things like that. And it's been awesome. I mean, it's been really good conversations, and I'll give Flus a ton of credit. Having been a coordinator and having had head coaches come and sit in my meetings and stuff, you don't like it, and you kind of take it a little bit. Myself personally, I took it personal. Like, why are you in my meeting? Hey, Pete, get out of my meeting. I don't want you in my meeting, Pete. Hey, Rex, why are you in my meeting? Get out, Flus has not been like that at all. And he's been very open to some of the thoughts. And, again, he's leaning on the staff. And, again, it's a good plan. Like I said, there will be changes, and there'll be, some bigger than others. And but the change is not necessarily what makes this thing go. What makes it go is going to be the execution, and that's what I want everybody to understand. And I would say it's been good because I'm able to, look at this thing from the offensive perspective and maybe clear up some things that they look at opposite of how the offense looks at it.
Cool. Thank you.
Good.
See, I'm still worried, though. I'm still worried that he's spending so much time in there. Does it take away from the offense? Does it take away from the offense? That's really what my biggest concern is about having Brian Schottenheimer just constantly in the defensive room. I mean, just constantly. I mean, how long does he have to actually do this? I mean, how long does he have to do it before somebody just says, okay, maybe we need to do something different? But again, I'm like football fanatic. I've already said this. I think the Cowboys are going to wind up giving Matt Eberflus, because I think I think sometimes we don't realize, but we're arguing against Matt Eberflus. And I'm not trying to say that Matt Eberflus isn't this, that, or the other, but I think sometimes we're arguing against Matt Eberflus while arguing for Matt Eberflus. We're arguing against him. We're saying the system is terrible. Matt Eberflus is terrible. But then we argue for him because we're saying the players are not good. The effort is bad. There's no passion there. And we could say it's because of Matt Eberflus. But they were like this last year. They struggled with Zimmer all the way up until about Thanksgiving. And even then, it was spotty of how, and it was real spotty of them playing well then. So we're arguing against him. They took Michael Parsons away from him. And some say the defense would be better with him. But then we're arguing against him. Because we're still saying that he's not good, even though he don't have a player like Michael Parsons. In the grand scheme of things, I think the Cowboys are probably going to give him another opportunity. And I think the opportunity they're going to give him is they're going to go out and get him some players next year. Yeah, David Duvall, what up? He said, gee, I agree. How can you be physical without practicing being physical? How can you tackle well without learning how to tackle? That's what I'm telling you. I'm tripping on that part. Yeah, Cowboy fan Trey. Yeah, Flus system is based on pressure. But another thing Cowboy fan Trey is based on, and this is where I think they are faulting Matt Eberflus. Anybody remember Matt Eberflus being called the linebacker whisperer? Y'all don't think that Jack Sanborn was not Matt Eberflus? Murray Jr. might have been Matt Eberflus. Because contrary to what people believe, man, come on, do y'all think Jerry is doing player study? Do we really think it's Jerry Jones who said, hey, guys, I was looking at film last night. I was looking around the NFL, and the one linebacker that caught my eye is Murray Jr. What? Jerry ain't watching no film. Jerry is being advised by people who to get. This is the part we don't talk about enough. Man, if Jerry is picking a player, believe me when I tell you, it's a player that he's seen on TV. Or it's a well-known player. That's the only way Jerry is picking a player. Man, who didn't know George Pickens? Who didn't know George Pickens? That's an easy one for Jerry. Man, Jerry saw George Pickens and said, shoo. Man, let's get this dude. That was an easy, but as far as these other players, Man, that's these dudes advising Jerry who they want Jerry to get. So, but some of these players, a lot of them were already here. So, I believe the Cowboys are going to give him an opportunity. I do. I think they're going to give him an opportunity. Diana, what's going on? Welcome back to the congregation. Now, Diana, is it Diana or Deanna? Diana said, I'm going to answer your question. The same answer I gave in 2017. They need at least a day a week practicing in Round Rock. Hold on. They need a day a week practicing in Round Rock like the old days. Guys come there and get weak. Country club. Y'all saw what happened when Jadeveon Clowney walked into the Dallas Cowboy facility. Jadeveon Clowney walked in, looked around. He said, man, these boys are spoiled. Jadeveon Clowney said, these boys are spoiled. He said, boy, the way this thing look, these boys ought to be playing better. Sure, Jadeveon Clowney said that. But, man, I'm telling us, man, it's... All right, let me give you this next part, and then we're going to go to Bobby Belt. But I just want to bring us back to reality once again. I tried to explain this, and I think I did a video on this, and I know I did at the beginning of the season. The expectations that we have placed on a first-year head coach, all new staff. Brian Schottenheimer is the only coach, and I think the tight ends coach, they're the only coaches left from the previous regime. So you have a brand new coaching staff. Brian Schottenheimer's first time being a head coach. You bring in Matt Eberflus. He's got to implement his system. And all of this, we are expecting, or we're expecting. What we're expecting? Super Bowl? I tried to explain to us the impossibility of this. And it's not impossible, but it's only been done twice. And in both instances, the coaches were on the staff that they won the Super Bowl, that team. They were on the staff of that team they won a Super Bowl with. But this is the caveat. This is the caveat. The teams were already great. The teams were already great. They didn't have to do a lot of coaching changes. No, the only coaching change, or they made a few moves, but for the most part, the team remained intact. They didn't have to go out and get multiple players on offense and defense. No, the teams were already pretty much good. When George Seifert took over the San Francisco 49ers, they were already on the verge of being a juggernaut. Seifert didn't have to go in there and change anything from what Walsh was. No. Man ran a tight operation. Seifert didn't come in from behind Mike McCarthy on a lame duck contract. All the coaches on a lame duck contract. He didn't come in from a season previously where the starting quarterback was hurt and they didn't have a run game and the defense didn't look good even then. No. That's not how Seifert took over that team. George Seifert took over a Super Bowl team. The expectations, and I understand the anxiousness, man. We hadn't been to the Super Bowl in 30 years. And our chances are growing slimmer and slimmer. And it might be 31 years, because I'm not going to rule out anything, because anything could happen. But I just wonder if our expectations, man, because I tried to explain this to us. For a first-year coach, I said this before the season started. I said Brian Schottenheimer needs an entire year of being the coach of the Dallas Cowboys. He does, and you can still tell he needs a whole year. He needs a whole year of being the coach of the Dallas Cowboys. Now, my fear is I'm starting to get a little concerned if the Cowboys are burning out Brian Schottenheimer, because as my grandfather, as my grandmother or my grandfather used to say, man, they burning the candles at both ends on Brian Schottenheimer. They're burning the candle at both ends. You got the head coach who is the play caller in the defensive room trying to fix the defense. Boy, this is a tall glass, man. This is a tall glass. And I'm just telling you where I am with this. If this is what they're going to do to Brian Schottenheimer, man, they need to start trying to migrate the play calling into the hands of Clayton Adams. They really do. They need to migrate the play calling in the hands of Clayton Adams and just let Brian Schottenheimer just oversee the operations. Because I'm telling you, they're burning the candle. They're burning the candle at both ends. They're burning the candle at both ends on this dude. I mean, you can even tell. You can tell by the way that he looks. Boy, man, that's what I'm telling you. I'm riding with Brian Schottenheimer. Boy, he's trying. Brian is trying harder. And I've been watching the Cowboys for a long time. Brian Schottenheimer is trying harder than anybody. Anybody that I've seen since Jimmy Johnson. And I'm including Bill Parcells. Parcells, I like Parcells. He's a little bit arrogant when he was here. Parcells, man, he was a great coach, but there's certain things too that Parcells, he kind of said a lot of things and kind of the way he moved. Mike McCarthy kind of came in here like, man, I'm a Super Bowl winner. But this dude, Brian Schottenheimer's up in here like, I want to be a Super Bowl winner. Brian is trying his butt off. Brian is trying his butt off. I got to give him credit. That's why there's a couple things I don't like, but for the most part, man, this dude, Brian, man, he trying hard. Yeah, true Texan. He's one of the guys I think they need to keep. They need to keep Clowney and sign him as a leader and sign him. He's a leader. Yeah, I think they got to keep him next season. Jadeveon Clowney's a great addition. But I'm telling us, man, the expectations that were put on this team, I just think they were a little high. I mean, I'm still expecting playoffs. But what I didn't expect was, and I don't think a lot of us expected this, I don't think we expected the Cowboys to let go of Micah Parsons. I don't think any of us expected that. And because we got to understand, I don't think it's because Micah is gone the defense is bad. I think it's because he's gone it's worse. But I also thought when Michael was here, I said the Cowboys have prepared themselves that if something happens with Michael, they got some pass rushers. But I also thought, but if Micah Parsons is going to be here, they're going to eat with these pass rushers. I thought they would have ate with Michael because of the other pass rushers. Because of them doubling him, they probably would have had more opportunities. But again, we'd have been weaker through the middle. They're doubling Kenny Clark and they're doubling Kenny Clark and also Diggy Zoo in the middle too, guys. Don't think we're not getting double teams no more. We're still getting double teams. Now we're just getting them in the middle of the field. They're just doubling our tackles. And because our linebacking play hasn't been good, it just looks 10 times worse. But again, I'm just saying all that to say, boy, the expectations were out the roof. Out the roof. I'm telling us, man, we have put a lot on this first year coaching staff. Name me the coaching staff that wins Super Bowls in the first season. I've already told you it's only been 2 teams. Ever. The Cowboys, I'm just trying to keep it real. Cowboys are going through the growing pains. And I know some of us want to say, no, it's Jerry. It's 30 years. Man, let me tell you something. Jerry's done some good things this year. Jerry's done some bad things this year. At least I can say this year, Jerry has done a lot of good things. Because in previous years, boy, you'd be scrambling to kind of try to find like what are the good things that Jerry did. They did a lot of good things this year. Man, as much as a lot of us like Brian Schottenheimer, Jerry hired him. Unfortunately, in Jerry fashion, he hired Matt Eberflus too. He got George Pickens. That's great. Unfortunately, things didn't work out with Michael Parsons. He got traded. A lot of these players they picked up we thought were going to be good, and some of them have been good. Some of them have been good. Then some of them haven't been good. It's growing pains, guys. I want y'all to stay encouraged. It's growing pains. I just think our expectations were too high. Katharina said, gee, I think Eberflus based his plays around Michael being here. Katharina, that's probably, you know what? It's a possibility. And now that he's gone, Eberflus is exposed. Just my opinion. Katharina, kiss. Katharina, I hit the wrong button. I'm trying to hit the clap button for you. Yeah, that was the applause button, Katharina Kiss. He might have thought that. Katharina Kiss, but I can tell you this. This goes into what I said before. We're arguing for him and we're arguing against him. Because if somebody tells me the defense would have looked better, if you tell me it was stupid to trade Michael Parsons, then what's your excuse for what is your reasoning for firing Matt Eberflus? Somebody says, well, he needs to just adjust to the players that he have. Well, maybe he has adjusted to the players that he have and it ain't doing no good. Yeah, maybe they ain't doing no good. Jesus Baroto, he said if you watch the game, these players are really bad on defense. Elam, the Bills let him go for a reason. Keep Flus, blow up that defense. Grady said, I'm calling it, answer the phone. I'm telling us. Maybe he's saying something. Brady. Shoot. Brady said after Pickens dragged J. Lou, Jerry said, I want him. Shoot. Man. Brady, let me tell you something. Jerry had visions of Dez Bryant dancing in his head. I'm telling you. Oh, Big Ron Bowski, I remember that. Had to be talked out of drafting Johnny Manziel. That should say plenty about what little scouting Jerry takes part in behind the scenes. Big Ron Bowski, man, I'm telling people. Man, Jerry ain't picking no players like people think he is. Shoot, Jerry picked Matt Eberflus out of continuity. I told y'all that. Picked him out of continuity. Straight up picked him out of continuity. He did. Picked him out of continuity. It is what it is. But I just think our expectations, and I don't know what you're talking about, Yolanda Stevens, but if you don't have to listen. But I said it before the season started. I have been consistent with this. The Cowboys were going to flash. I said it. They were going to flash. Have the Cowboys flashed? Yes, the Cowboys have absolutely flashed. But what did I tell you? But the Super Bowl is 2026. No later than 27. The Super Bowl is 2026. No later than 27. But at the end of the day, I'm just telling you, this team, I think the expectations, man, they were high. Yolanda, whoever you are, whether you really you or some troll, you late to the party. You very late to the party because I'm not wishy-washy on the Cowboys. What I am is a glass half full person on the Cowboys. And wishy-washy to me is saying the Cowboys are trash one week and great another week. No, I'm never like that. And even when I give my predictions, I give the prediction of what's going to happen if they do well and what's going to happen if they don't do well. You obviously either a troll, you late, and I'm going to just call you a liar. So if you don't want to be here, guess what? Get off here. Get off here, because I'm telling you, I'm not begging you to stay. You can get off here. We have respectful conversations here. We have respectful conversations and we respect each other's opinion. But I'm telling you now, you a liar on that. This is why I have to every so often, I'm gonna have to do it again. I'm gonna have to do it again. I'm gonna have to start bringing some videos back because people just don't remember these videos I've done on here. I've talked about this stuff. I just think the expectations that we put on the Cowboys, man, they were pretty high. And again, did I think it was a possibility the Cowboys were going to make the NFC Championship game? I did. I thought it was a great chance. I thought it was a great chance for the Cowboys to win 11 or 12 games. But, man, who would have known the defense was... I'd already said that I was concerned about the defense. Man, who would have thought the defense was going to be this bad? Man, I never thought the defense was going to be this bad. I mean, I thought they were going to be okay without Michael Parsons. But this bad? I don't think nobody could have predicted it. This defense is bad. That's all I can tell you. This defense is bad. I'm telling you. And some of these players I thought was going to do good, I'll be the first to tell you. Man, these players, some of this stuff isn't the scheme, it's effort. All right, let's listen to Bobby Belt before we get out of here. Bobby Belt says he knows how to fix the Cowboys, and I want to hear how you're going to fix them. Let's check him out.
Bobby Belt kind of threw me for a loop yesterday when he said I can get the Cowboys to the Super Bowl without using any...
Without a plane ticket?
...of the
Super Bowl
round picks. So this better be good, Bobby.
Look, I'm going to just lay it out there for you. I'm trying to think. You don't want to give up first-round picks. You want to be competitive. You want to be in contention. How do you make sure that you can get there? How can you make sure that you can actually compete for a Super Bowl without giving up one of your first-round picks? Because it does feel like it's pretty hopeless on defense right now.
Yeah.
So you're just gonna have to follow me and trust me. All right. This is a multi-step process. This is not going to be just a thing where you just say, oh, well, what we're going to do is we're going to play more man-to-man and then it's over.
And what year are you getting them there?
This year.
Oh.
I'll get you there this year.
Okay.
You tell me if this would make you a contender. If I just told you all these things happened.
Okay.
If it makes you a contender. Now, I'm going to first start off because I think everybody agrees the offense is pretty good.
Yeah.
So we're going to start on the offensive side More of the than ball. pretty good. Yeah. They are legitimately a top-tier
Super Bowl level
caliber
Super Bowl level offense.
The only issue with the offense, the only thing that's going to keep them from being an elite offense is that they're inconsistent on the road. So here's
there it
what
is,
we
Dr.
got.
Jekyll, Mr. Hyde.
I'm going to make 3 changes on offense.
Okay.
1, I want more Jaden Blue. No. Not in the backfield. I want more Jaden Blue in the slot. I want him sharing.
Anybody remember some of my game breakdowns? What have I said about Jaden Blue? I don't want the Cowboys using Jaden Blue like he's Javonte Williams. What did I say about Jaden Blue? Sweeps, screen game, passing game. You got to get him in space. He is not a between the tackles guy. He is not the type of running back that Brian Schottenheimer prefers. I said this. More Jaden Blue, but in the passing game, in space, in sweeps, on screens. I said this.
The Turpin reps a little bit. And I want you to make them kind of, you have the ability to flip them. So I want some reps where it's going to be when Blue's on the field, he's in the backfield, Turpin's in the slot. Sometimes it may be Turpin's in the backfield, Blue in the slot. Blue was a legit receiver at Texas.
Have I not said this? Did I not say early in the season, both of them on the field at the same time? I said that when the Cowboys find a way to get Lamb, Pickens, Ferguson, Tolbert, Turpin, Jaden Blue, Javonte Williams on the field at the same time, they're going to be it would be impossible to stop him. I said that. I did not like the fact that he tried to run Jaden Blue like he was Javonte Williams. That's just not his game to me. I don't think he's that type of back. I don't think he's that physical type of back like Javonte Williams and Phil Maffa. Nah, you got to get this guy in space.
Was he?
Yeah. And so you're talking about a guy who has Turpin and Blue have similar skill sets, actually.
Speed.
Blue's a little built thicker because he's obviously a running back. But you're talking about top-end speed and agility and shiftiness. I would think that if you could work Blue in there a little bit more, that would just add another dimension to the offense that makes you even more difficult to cover.
Yep, same thing I said.
I want to ratchet up the deep crossers. We have not seen yet a lot of deep crossing routes were a big thing in Kellen's offense when Dak was having a lot of success. We haven't seen a ton of CD and Pickens crossing. I think if you can cross them a little bit more frequently and force secondaries to make certain decisions between those two, or even just bunch them up or have them stack up on the same side of the line of scrimmage, just basically force teams to have a decision point on who are we covering here? What are we doing? More than just pre-snap, they're all on different sides of the line. So that's that. And then the other thing, increase the fourth down aggressiveness.
Now, hold on a second. Now, isn't it strange? We saw some of this in training camp. Now, that's the part I don't understand. We saw them with them on the same side of the field. I think we even saw some of the stuff that Bobby Belt is talking about in training camp. It's like we're not seeing it in the games. I agree. Yeah, more deep crossing routes. And I would definitely be trying to get Pickens deep more than what they have been doing. I already said this part too. He said more aggressive on fourth down. What did I tell y'all just the other day? From this point forward for me, it's John Madden football. Anything less than 4th and 4 past the 50, we going for it. I'm telling you, I'm playing with house money from this point forward. I got to be ultra aggressive. I got to win the rest of these games.
There have been too many times I feel like where we all feel like we've looked at it and gone, you should have gone for that.
Yeah.
Just start taking more chances on fourth down.
4th and 5 last week is really bad.
Start taking more chances on
living
fourth
in
down
our
when they
reality.
present themselves. Get out of your comfort zone. Even if you think this may not be the best call, if there's a sheet that says percentage-wise you should go for it, step out of your comfort zone and try it and see if you start having more success.
Yep, do it.
You know how we feel like with the Cowboys when they get a stop on 3 downs? Then we're like, oh, what a miracle. And then when you see they're going for it on 4th down, you're like, there's zero chance we're stopping them 4 times.
Yeah.
I feel like teams would feel that way with Dallas. Like, we're not stopping them on 4 straight plays. And so start putting some pressure on them. So that's the offensive side of the ball. That'll make them, I think, slightly better.
Okay. That's doing nothing for me in terms of them making a Super Bowl.
Well, obviously.
Now, understand what Bobby Belt is saying. I'm going to applaud him on this. These are some of the same things that I've mentioned. Some of the same things that I mentioned. I haven't figured out why the Cowboys, I have not figured out why the Cowboys don't go deep more with George Pickens. I love the idea. Yeah, why are you not doing more deep crosses? It's like we let the defense dictate to us what we're going to do rather than us dictating to the defense what we're going to do. Man, George Pickens and CeeDee Lamb are too great. Not good. They're too great to not be just eating up defenses. Especially George Pickens. George Pickens is a boundary eater. I'm telling y'all, I'm not being funny, but we held this dude back in Denver. They had no answer for George Pickens. We held this dude back, especially after Patrick Surtain left out the game. Man, I'm telling you, the Cowboys would have ate them alive with deep crossers. They would have ate them alive even with just go routes to George Pickens. They would have ate this secondary alive. But instead, we were so afraid of the pass rush. And because we didn't establish the run, we gave up on the run. Just gave up on it. Gave up on it. And it was like, not only did we give up on it, it was like we didn't even want to do it. Cowboys got to get that run game back established. I know they'll do it against Arizona. Get that run game back established. And, man, you got to start eating up the boundaries with George Pickens. And CD going to do CD stuff. Man, you get the ball to CD, man, he'll eat up the middle of the field. CD is a yards after the catch monster. So I agree. They are not doing some of the things they could be doing with these receivers. They're not doing it.
Not because, I mean, right now we think
I
their
agree.
offense could do that. That's just to get a little bit more out of it. Okay, so here's what we're going to do on the defensive side of the ball. You need to reduce your defensive line rotation.
Has Bobby Belt been listening to me? Has Bobby Belt been listening to me? Did I not say this? The Cowboys are they're doing too much rotating. They're trying to be too much like the last year Philadelphia Eagles. Did I not say this? The Cowboys need to get the starters. Whoever the starters are going to be, whoever is playing the best, let that be your defensive line. I said this. This rotation mess is killing the Cowboys. It's killing them. Trying to keep everybody fresh. Well, in actuality, they're keeping everybody cold. I said this same thing. Stop this dumb rotation.
I don't care about how much you like having them fresh and the different things that you want to do, and you don't want anybody playing more than 60% of the snaps. It's pretty obvious who your best defensive linemen are at this point.
Who?
So your best edges are Donovan Ezeraku and Jadeveon Clowney. That's just flat out.
Yep. Jerry yesterday praising Ezeraku, a.k.a.
And James Houston is the best pass rusher.
And Bobby has been loving him more every week.
If you want to rotate somebody in, you can rotate James Houston in on passing situations. So you've got James Houston, Donovan Ezeraku, Jadeveon Clowney. That's who's basically going to be your edge group. And I think that Ezeraku and Clowney have been solid when they've played together on the field. That's generally been Dallas's best look. On the interior, Kenny Clark has not been good lately. John Oning from PFF yesterday said that it's bad enough to him in the most recent weeks that he's just starting to question whether you might have to have him as a cap casualty in the offseason.
Oh, my God.
Because he said he was good the first few weeks, but this has just been
not
good the last few.
Not agreeing with that.
Oh, my Lord.
Mozzie Smith can't be out there.
No.
The guy who needs to be out there, we talked about it yesterday, Solomon Thomas is your best defensive tackle. He's played well for the most part.
Yeah,
I feel
Solomon
like
Thomas
most
has
of the
been
time
great.
when we see a run get blown up in the backfield by a defensive tackle, it has been Solomon Thomas. So Solomon Thomas, and then he hasn't had a good run the last couple weeks, but Osa is the most talented left of your defensive tackles. I think Osa and Solomon Thomas is the defensive tackle rotation that you need there. So if you've got that set up and you want to work Kenny Clark in occasionally in some obvious run situations,
Work him in.
I'm saying I want to reduce this rotation.
They targeted him, man. They targeted him. Had to have him.
I want 80% snaps for these four. Like, that's how I think it should be. I think you need to start using some of those Zimmer and stuff Broncos do, those sim pressures and those creeper blitzes, where you're showing 7 guys on the line of scrimmage, 4 are rushing. If you don't want to blitz Matt Eberflus, fine. Get creative with the way that you send 4 rushers then. And not just, twists and stunts. Change that up. That's scheme change. Start having more sim pressures. Start having more creepers. Now what you actually need, because those changes obviously are not going to be enough to fix everything.
Right.
So you're going to have to go add players. Okay? You are getting DeMarvion Overshown back. You are going to get Malik Hooker back, which I do think Malik Hooker is an NFL caliber safety. I think you can win with him back there.
When's Hooker supposed to come back?
That one's been a little less certain as he's been recovering from that foot injury. All right, I'm going to go sign Stephon Gilmore. He's on the street. That's a smart, savvy player who
He's just still sitting there.
I know, and he sat there last year for a while, and then he went out and he played pretty well.
When did he sign last year? What week?
It was before the season started, but it was like training camp.
Does it make you feel any different that nobody else has signed him?
Yeah.
No, I think it's just he's a 35-year-old corner, and most teams have figured out who they have, and they're like, we're not going to run that way. Dallas, who is
him being still available does say a lot.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, if you're
not
playing
every team is set in the second.
if you're playing, no,
but teams are just fine there, and it's us.
Teams don't want generally.
Yeah, I agree with you, Rombowski, because I like I said earlier, I think Dan Quinn would do better with this defense. I do think Dan Quinn would do better with this defense. Because one thing I did like about Dan Quinn would, whatever you gave him, he would just do what he had to do with it. Matt Eberflus, on the other hand, Rombowski, I'll be honest with you. I don't know if Matt Eberflus is stubborn or is he telling us, y'all don't understand, these dudes can't do anything. I don't know which one he's telling us. I just don't know which one he's telling us. And I'm having a hard time believing that after some of the stuff that even Jerry Jones said, that Matt Eberflus is he just doing what he wants to do? Or is he like telling them and they're all agreeing that we just don't have the players to do what he wants to do? I don't know which one it is. But I do agree with you. I do think that Dan Quinn could do better. Now, I'm not telling you he would have us in no doggone Super Bowl, but I think he could do better with this defense. No doubt about
it. They don't want to gamble at the beginning of the season, especially on 35.
Yeah.
Like at 35 and decent. Like they're just not willing to do that. Dallas is at a point now where they need guys who are smart and they need guys who understand what the coverages are. That's going to be Stephon Gilmore. Stephon Gilmore playing in zone, he's not going to be asked to do a lot of man-to-man. He doesn't have to be a 26-year-old athlete.
Yeah.
He can be 35 and play in zone and be able to improve your secondary. And then at that point, take Bland out of the nickel. To me, Reddy Stewart they were better in the secondary when Reddy Stewart was taking the nickel. I don't know why the last 2 weeks
Reddy Stewart has played good to me.
Reddy Stewart in the nickel, physical player, understands Eberflus' scheme, Bland and Gilmore on the outside. You're going to trade a 5th-round pick or a 6th-round pick, depending on if you can get away with 6th, for Demario Davis. Again, older player, but we're just talking about trying to make them competitive this year. Demario Davis is playing really high-level football right now, even still at 36 or whatever he is.
Yeah, he's 36.
You're going to add the older players there. The big investment is going to be you're going to trade a 2nd-round pick. Not a 1st. You're going to trade a 2nd to Miami for Minkah Fitzpatrick. And Minkah Fitzpatrick and Malik Hooker are going to become a safety duo that both of them can play interchangeably up or down. And if you want to start fleshing out the linebacker core a little bit, you're going to have to start looking at, all right, Donovan Wilson, when you get snaps, you're playing only in the box. You're not doing anything else. You're playing in the box with Overshown. You're playing in the box with Davis and Overshown, whatever it is. But basically, he becomes a hybrid linebacker. So I think you've got Gilmore, Bland outside as your outside corners. Your Nicholas Stewart. You've got Minkah Fitzpatrick and Malik Hooker as the safeties. Demario Davis, who's playing at a Pro Bowl level, is your linebacker with DeMarvion Overshown, Shamar James, Donovan Wilson. Those guys can rotate in. And you start reducing the rotation. Stop worrying about the depth. Stop talking about the depth of rushers. Just focus on who's been able to do stuff for you this year.
All right, y'all. Y'all tell me what y'all think about what Bobby Bell said. Hey. I ain't gonna hate. Because some of the stuff that I said, but that personnel on the defense, kind of like that. Timothy Govin, I think you had another good point in to what he's saying. Timothy Govin, I think added to what Bobby Bell said, I would re-sign Kendricks. I thought Kendricks looked pretty good last year. Wow. I ain't gonna hate. Y'all tell me what y'all think about what Bobby Bell said. I really like I ain't gonna lie, I like what he said. Because you think about it, where he's making so much sense is Stephon Gilmore is a zone cornerback. These guys are struggling in zone. I think Elam is fine in zone. And, of course, we got Savon Revel Jr. You can work Savon Revel Jr. in, too. I mean, you bring in Stephon Gilmore. We've talked about this before. I would love to bring in Gilmore. I just think he kind of solidifies your secondary. And he will help you to where you don't have to sacrifice, as Bobby Bell is pointing out, you won't have to sacrifice your first-round picks, and you can still win now while trying to get and utilize those picks for win in the future or going this offseason and really getting some defensive players, whether it be for Matt Eberflus or whether it be for another defensive coordinator. But I got a strange feeling they're not going to do that because they've already said the mistake they've made is 3 defensive coordinators in 3 years. I think the only way the Cowboys fire Matt Eberflus is that Matt Eberflus make them fire Matt Eberflus. And that's by losing to the Arizona Cardinals. The Arizona Cardinals, man, if that defense looks ridiculously bad against the Cardinals at home, man, let me tell you something. If the Cowboys get blew out the box at home against Arizona, all bets off. You might see Matt Eberflus bite the dust. True Texan said, I agree. So let's say 2027. That is a goal they can achieve. But will Jerry and the fans give them that grace? I'm willing to be reckoning coming off. I am willing, but reckoning coming if hot. Yeah, I get what you're saying. The fan base barely got patience for this year. I mean, we're asking a lot. We're asking a lot. But again, I think Jerry is saying with this offense, man, we ought to be able to do better. So we'll see. Lock and D, Bobby speaking facts. Yeah, Bobby, yeah. Yeah, I like what he said, especially in the secondary. I absolutely love what he said. Yep. I love what he said. I did. All right. So let me give you 3 ways. I want to knock these last 2 out, and then I'm going to go in here and get ready to get out of here. But I want to knock these last 2 subject matters out for the day about the Cowboys. And I'm going to tell you 3 ways that I believe the Cowboys can improve. Y'all tell me what y'all think, but I'm going to give you 3 ways I think the Cowboys can improve. 3 ways. I'm going to keep it a buck with you. I'm going to reiterate what the players have been saying. The first thing the Cowboys need to do to improve on defense, in particular, they need to play better. Bottom line. I know the scheme doesn't fit the players. Got it. But what I don't get are the bad angles. Avoiding contact. Just a lack of effort. You can see it on the tape. It's oozing out everywhere. These are professional football players. Enough of the doggone boo-hooing or whatever you're doing. At the end of the day, you're a professional. Why do you think Brian Schottenheimer said at the end of that press conference, no matter what change we make, at the end of the day, execution. Doggone players need to execute. This defense is not executing. Man, I ain't even talking about the scheme. They're just not executing. Tackling. They're not even shedding blocks. It's like they're looking for excuses to be blocked. They're getting blown off the ball, man. We watched Sam Williams against Carolina Panthers. They put Sam Williams in the concession stand. This team needs more effort. This defense needs to be more physical. End of the day, I don't care who you bring in here. If these players are not going to be physical, if they're not going to give the effort, if they don't have the passion, no. Do something different. End of the day, players must play better. Talking about the defense. Number 2 way the Cowboys can get better. Matt Eberflus needs to adjust his scheme. And I mean, he really needs to sit down and look at what he has and adjust his scheme. Look at the plays where his players have been successful. Look at his players and say, what are their strengths and weaknesses? And put those players in the best position to win and succeed. Don't try to put the players in your system and say, it's not my system, it's the players. How about be a coach and say, doggone it, they don't fit my system. So let me implement some things they can do, and maybe I can work my system in a little bit at a time and a little bit at a time. But what I'm not going to do is be so bullheaded to where my defense looks so bad and they look bad, because if they look bad, I got to understand if they look too bad, then I'd look bad. He's got to adjust that system. Third thing, trade. Not big time trades. Not even if it's just big time. Minkah Fitzpatrick, I don't think that would be a big trade. I'm not opposed to a Minkah Fitzpatrick trade. But maybe you trade some players that are later round draft picks. And even if you don't trade, Stephon Gilmore is out there on the streets. Kendricks is out there on the streets. There are other players out there on the streets. Go out there and get some of those players. They can't be worse than what you are playing right now. Go out there and get some of these players. Bonus way the Cowboys can improve, and they will improve health-wise. Overshown coming back is going to help. Josh Butler, Savon Revel Jr., they will eventually help. I'm not going to tell you how much, but I think they will help. They're definitely going to help. And that's how I think the Cowboys can get better. 3 ways to improve. Players play better. Matty Eberflus adjust his system. Trade for help. And I'm not talking no big trades. They don't have to give up no number 1s and 2s. Just small stuff. Trade for help. And as they get healthy, I think they're going to be better automatically. All right. Trade candidates. Let me throw a few names out there. And I'm going to come back with these same names tomorrow. I'm going to try to put them on a graph. But I'm going to throw out some names real quick for trade candidates before we get out of here. Trade candidates out there for the Cowboys. And I don't think these trade candidates are going to be first and second round picks. So the Cowboys we can sigh relief. These are some simple trades I believe the Cowboys can make. So, first, let me list some trade pieces for the Cowboys. Now, one of these is probably going to surprise you. But the Cowboys got a tackle by the name of Nate Thomas. Cowboys might ought to consider letting Nate Thomas be a starter. The Cowboys could maybe consider trading Terrence Steele. Maybe trading Schoonmaker. Trading TJ Bass. I know we need the depth, but maybe trading TJ Bass, he's a good player. Maybe they could trade Damone Clark. Not sure who would want him. Trade Sam Williams. Somebody would probably want Sam Williams. Trade Trevon Diggs, because Trevon Diggs needs a whole new. He just needs a new surrounding. He needs a fresh start. Diggs needs to get healthy and get away from the Cowboys, get his mental game back together, and so he can get back to being a top cornerback. And it's obvious the Cowboys got issues with Trevon Diggs. It'll just be better for both parties. It doesn't even have to be all dirty and nasty. It would just be good for both parties. Problem is, I don't know if anybody will want Trevon Diggs either because of the money. Trade candidates. Jalen Phillips, edge from the Dolphins. Bradley Chubb, edge from the Dolphins. Jermaine Johnson, edge from the Jets. Kayvon Thibodeau, edge from the Giants, even though I think the Giants said they're not gonna trade him. And then, of course, we got Arden Key, edge from the Titans. Those are the edges. We're going to come back and talk about them tomorrow. As far as the linebackers go, there are some linebackers out there because it sounds like Jerry. That may be where Jerry is going in this trade thing. Jerry may be going for a linebacker. So in the linebacking crew, Sebastian Joseph, defensive tackle for the Titans. Logan Wilson, linebacker from the Bengals. Demario Davis, linebacker for the Saints. His name has come up today. Christian Harris, linebacker from the Texans. And Lante Taylor, cornerback for the Saints. Those are some defensive players the Cowboys could trade for, and they wouldn't be first and second and fourth or whatever draft picks. And then finally, last but not least, and again, we'll talk about these more in depth as we get close to the trade deadline. Michael Carter, the second cornerback for the Jets. Rick Woolen, cornerback for the Seahawks. Cam Taylor-Britt, cornerback for the Bengals. Minkah Fitzpatrick from the Dolphins. That may be a very good possibility. Tony Adams, safety from the Jets. Those are the 3 ways to improve, and those are the trade candidates that are out there, and we're going to talk more about those tomorrow, but we're going to probably get more into tomorrow. We're going to get more into breaking down the Cardinals game too. Yeah, Malcolm Shaver said, gee, you got to get protection, but I agree. Yeah. What's going on, Incredulous? Yeah. Daniel Rogers. Some of that stuff that Bobby Bell said, man, I'm telling you, that sounds almost verbatim like some of the stuff I said. Man, that stuff sounds verbatim. Man, I'm telling you. I'm just telling you. Maybe coincidental, but it sounds like a lot of the stuff I said. All right, let me read a couple comments. Y'all not gonna get out of here. Make sure I had read all the super chats. Read all those. I appreciate y'all on the super chats. Let me read Diana Yah. She said Dak was not happy with shoddy play calling. Yep. Diana Yah. Shoddy play calling it's the worst it's been this year. Shoddy was distracted with defense. If you have to babysit the defense coordinator, his offense is of no use. I said it. We're burning the candle at both ends on this dude. We're burning the candle at both ends. I'm not sure he can handle this. I'm not sure he can handle all this. We're putting a lot on this dude's plate. Man, I give it to him. But man, this dude, we're putting a lot on this dude's plate. All right, guys. I appreciate y'all rocking with me again. I'll be doing some videos tonight once I get out of the church. So look forward to seeing y'all again. Appreciate you. Best chat on YouTube. Y'all give yourself a hand. Until the next time, TC4L, God bless. Let's talk Cowboys and we talk facts. Peace.